Hello, this is Katie. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if it's your first time. I know it's been a while and I definitely failed at putting out the videos I wanted to. I think I did one Shop Your Stash video, maybe two, I don't remember. I did not do all these for sure, and I did not do a Valentine's week. I am doing No Buy 2022 art supplies. No Buy art supplies 2022, and these were tips I went through in my video, and I had rules set up, and I already went through those in a video you can watch. But you can spend gift cards, and I did spend a gift card, so that'll be in my February wrap up, the end of this month. Hopefully I remember to do that. My January wrap up is obviously a little late. So I've only spent gift card money so far, but I want to go over with you very quickly. I want to mention there was one other person, not one other, there were other people, many other people doing No Buy art supplies for 2022. One of them was just an artist here on YouTube, and she made this rule, and I was like, okay, that's kind of weird, and it didn't make sense at the time, but her rule was that she couldn't just pick up a different hobby and spend money on that, and that is exactly what I did. And then I realized that's why she said that and set that rule for herself, and I probably should have as well. So I got into reading a whole bunch and buying a bunch of books, and so I did spend money on books, but not art supplies, and that's what matters, right? So now that we've cleared that up, so in January, you're gonna see it pretty quickly, but I'm gonna zoom in here. We'll also be making a card with Shop Your Stash in this video. But I wanted to go over, and since I don't edit my videos, I can't show you like pictures of what I would have bought because I don't want to do that. I don't want to take the time to like edit things in. I don't know how either. So I'm going to show you what I would have spent in January. I just took screenshots of the items and emailed myself. I even went like very close to checkout, so it included taxes, shipping, everything. And so I could get a realistic number, but I did not purchase it. So the first one was like 4 days in, maybe less than a week into January, and it was Ink Road came out with Bob's Burgers sets, 2 of them, and I was so like, why did I pick this year to not spend money on stamps? Because I'm a giant Bob's Burgers fan, and I was like, oh my god. Okay, so Crap Attack is just from one of the things in the show, and so that's why it's called that. But it was volume 1 and 2, and shipped would have been $35.67. I very much wanted those, but I did not buy them. And then somewhere in January after that, Doodlebugs Wah had Sunny Studio Heart Bouquet and die. So if I just put and die, I would have purchased the die as well. It was a little heart, like heart balloons in like a bouquet of balloons, essentially with strings. That was really cute, probably for Valentine's Day. So that was a mini set, like one of the smaller 2x3, I think is what the size would be. And then Pretty Pink Posh I would have bought from Doodlebugs Washington. She had Pretty Pink Posh, Love Balloons, and die. That one is like a few different animals, I think, holding balloons, and there's balloons that spell out love, so there was LOVE and strings and things like that, and the dies. And then also from Pretty Pink Posh, the Valentine wreath. So you've probably seen, if you watch my videos, I have the Halloween wreath. I don't know if I have any other wreaths, but they make wreaths. That's one of their recurring designs, but for different holidays. So the Valentine wreath and the die, it's about yay big as a stamp. So all of those shipped would have been $89.94. And then Reverse Confetti had a pretty cute release, and I would have purchased the Lovely Tag confetti cuts. To them is just dies. That's what they call their dies, is confetti cuts, because it's reverse confetti. And like Lawn Fun calls them lawn cuts. companies just have different names for what they call their dies. So it was just a standalone set of like a tag die. It might have been a few dies in that one. And then Love Bugs. They had a pretty cute set, and the dies to go with that would have been $52.80. So the total not spent for January was $178.41. So there is a recap for what I would have spent in January. And I probably did more than enough damage and more than that in books. So it all balances out. This is why you should not pick up another hobby when you're trying not to spend on one hobby. Anyway, so there's that. And then we are going to be making a card with this set that I haven't used too much. I think I've used this or this stamp. I do need to pause to trim apart some of these. But we're going to make a happy birthday to you with a little mouse and his little blower. And he's going to be blowing up or blowing bubbles of the happy. And then I'm going to stamp some other bubbles and color those in as well. So we want to, I'm going to get some stuff ready and I will be right back. Okay, so I have gathered some things. I also cut apart, I just went ahead and did all of it because I hate cutting apart dies, and I figured if I was already doing it, I might as well finish it. And then I pulled out the ones I'm going to be die cutting out, which is the mouse and his little wand blower and the word happy. So, oh, I will use my handy dandy Twiddler's Nook stand, which I'm already using for some other dies, but these, it's magnetic and it keeps your dies as you're working on them, and it's fantastic. So I will set that in front of me. Those are the stamps. I have my stamp platform and my pressure pal also from Twiddler's Nook that we will be using. Let's get my sweatshirt out of the view here. I'm using the wonky stitched rectangles that I have from Cat Scrappiness. And then from this paper pad that I have, Pink Paisley, they make really cute paper pads, and they're all like 6x8, so you get even a little bit more out of them, a couple more inches. I'm using this one here, and I'm just going to put that onto the base, and I'm going to use a smaller for kind of our scene. I'm usually not too terribly inventive unless I am casing someone else's card, so I apologize for the simplicity. We are going to stick that down to the card base, so I'm just going to put the adhesive down onto the card base directly. I use a lot of adhesive. You definitely do not need to use that much. And I always start at like the spine, just in case I need to trim anything off. We can't trim our spine. And I always trim these to, this seems to be a little bit bigger, so we're actually going to trim this down. My microphone is to the right of me, so you can probably hear me better when I turn that way. I'm just going to trim off this portion because it was overlapping on the card base anyway, and then that covers the white overlap there. Okay, so now we have the base with the background, and then we'll be sticking, this is going to go down as well anyway, so we'll stick this down too. Because most of it is die cuts. The only thing I'm going to stamp directly onto the white piece is the extra bubbles that we'll be coloring in. So we might as well stick this down. Make sure it's relatively centered. So that'll be our card base. I can set that aside and those. Okay, so we need to stamp these out, and I actually did not grab any cardstock, but now I'm thinking I might have strips. I have scrap strips in here, enough to cover all 3 of these guys, so I might as well use my scrap strips, huh? Let's do that. So I'm gonna put, speaking of using what you have, we might as well not dig into a fresh piece of paper. We can put this in that corner instead. And then get our happy on there, and our mouse, so cute, and his little wand blower. So we will pick those up, put this back in the corner, and then I'm going to use Memento Tuxedo Black. I've gone back to Memento Tuxedo Black ink because the ones I was using were just not doing as good anymore. So before the beginning of 2022, I bought 3 of these. One of them was a little fuzzy, but I bought 3 of them, so because I wasn't going to be able to do any buying of art supplies in 2022. And I'm happy that I did, because it's a lot better and very inky. I only have to do 1 go around, and I'm able to color it in very quickly after stamping without it bleeding. That was my problem. I was having issues with the inks I was using because they were hybrid inks, which makes sense, bleeding with Copics or alcohol markers. So there's that. I'm going to clean these off really quick, and I will be right back. Okay, so I'm going to color these in before we cut them out. We'll zoom in a little further. I also have, there's a little bit, just because it is so inky, a little bit under his chin, but we'll just use a white pen to cover that when we're all done and he's on the card, just to make it easier. I am looking up at my chart for my tri-blends because they are the easiest thing, and I know I need to use my Copics more, but I just love my tri-blends so much. So I'm going to use the red brown blend for this little mouse, and he's just so cute. So I tend to fill in on critters. I'm not saying this is the best way to do it by any means. There are people who color critters very well. I usually just go part of the head down here, down the back, especially Lawn Fawn. They have a lot of similar kind of situations, position-wise, for critters. I go into a little bit of the ear and a little bit of the behind ear, and usually a little bit around the head, down the back, any like shadowy places, and then like a third of the arm when I'm using a tri-blend. I'm only using 3 colors. And for some reason, the middle of this red-brown blend is darker, and I don't know why, and it's not backwards. I just don't understand it, but hopefully it'll blend out okay. When all is said and done, and we'll make his little nose pink. With this one, I either need to practice swapping it and doing the mid as the dark, because now he looks kind of silly, or I just go over everything with the lightest to make sure I've got everything covered. But that does make him look a little funny, doesn't it? That's okay. He looks okay. And then I usually grab a super light E50 as an example to fill in any like bellies, so I'm not using the same color as his fur or anything like that. And then for the pink, I either go for one end of my tri-blends. I think that's awfully pink. I'm going to use the light end for his ear, a little bit lighter. Or just a random pink Copic for ears or that. And then for this bubble, I'm going to use True Blue Blend, which is a light blue, to make it kind of a bubble-like shade. And I'm just going to go from kind of the edges and the corners, and we're just going to blend that way and see what happens. It'll all blend out in the end, so I'm just kind of picking the tips and the edges and the corners, and maybe in there, the transitions. And then for the mid color, blend that out a bit more. This looks a lot, True Blue Blend. This looks a lot lighter on my sample in front of me on my chart. So this may be a little bit darker than I imagined for light blue bubbles, but that's okay. And then the lightest one. I could have done pink, like a light pink blend. I do have a pale pink blend as well to go with the background. That would have worked too. Blend that out a little bit better. And then I'll also be adding the Birthday to You stamp. I got that one out, but we'll be stamping that onto the white. So hopefully that works out. We'll give him we'll do pale pink blend on his little wand. And I'll just go straight to the lightest color because this isn't a very big image to color in. All right, so I'm going to die cut these out and I will be right back. Okay, so we've got our pieces cut out. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit so we can lay these out. So that he can be holding that up to Be Happy. Maybe he should be down in the corner, and then he'll be blowing out the Happy, and then we'll put bubbles around that. So I will grab one of my glues, and I'm gonna need tweezers. Okay, so I know that he's going to be down in the corner, so we'll start with him. I don't think I did my glue properly last time. I must not have. Let's use this one. I think I closed this one just fine. There we go. Okay, so we will put him down in the corner. Probably more glue than I needed. And then we want to position his blower properly. That probably works good. It could be at an angle too. That would be kind of cute. Maybe I'll do it at an angle. We'll see what it looks like. I really like these bubble letters though. It's a set very similar to Happy, Happy, Happy and Thanks, Thanks, Thanks from Lawn Fawn. I use those ones a lot because they just work out really well. I think this would be funny at an angle, so let's do that. And then we need to get the birthday to you all good. So what I need to do with my glue is get all the glue that's in there so it's spitting like that. Get the airflow and then put that in. Then we don't have that problem next time. So I am going to put this in here so that we can stamp the sentiment. I'll put it in this way. And then we'll position the words like that. That would be good. And then this should only take one quick ink up. I will still use my Pressure Pal, even though this is a very small stamp. We still want it to come out even, so that looks good to me. So I'm going to set up also, I'll clean this one off really quick. We're going to set up some bubbles. We'll just use all the different bubbles in the set to be placed around it. So we will put this back in here with our magnet. Put our sentiment back, and then we'll just use all the bubbles in the set. There's a tiny, tiny black speck on here that I want to cover up. And so if I can do that with these bubbles, the bubble placement, that would be ideal, so I don't have to think about it. We'll do this, and these down here, and then the little tiny one up here. If it lets go of my finger, which is very difficult to do with these stamps. Okay, so we will pick all those up. Make sure we're back in the corner there. And then these don't need too much inking. That should be plenty. And there we go. So I will pause really quick, clean these up and put them away, and then we'll finish coloring in. Okay, so I've decided for the bubbles, I want them to be lighter than this here, so I'm going to use B000 and then the colorless blender to kind of blend it out towards the center. So I did a coloring video with Copic color combinations recently, and I was coloring balloons, and I realized I prefer, like if I was using 3 reds, for example, I prefer going outer towards the center versus like kind of a crescent moon blending pattern, which I don't know why I just didn't do it sooner. I know I'd seen it before. I was just so used to coloring round balloons like that. So instead of that, I'm going to blend out the B000, which is pale porcelain blue, because I know this ink can handle some blending. and just blend that out to the center bit. Leave that blue ring on the outside. I could even take it a step further and use glossy accents and fill in the bubbles. So I might do that, because I think I have those right next to me. Because then it gives that kind of bubbly colored edge, but it doesn't totally fill it in. So, and I almost successfully covered up my speck. I did not though. So let me look for my glossy accents really quick. Okay, so I have the glossy accents. This would basically, it'll dry clear, and I use it on things like bubbles. I just want to make sure all the bubbles are out. You can just use the tip to go around and fill in the circle. I won't be able to show you on this video the end result, but it is pretty similar looking, although it dries much more clear. This kind of has a very pale yellowish hue to it when you put it down. So it'll just dry a lot more clear basically in the end. But you get the gist of what it does. Oops, I'm not trying to put my hand in the other one. And I can even put one in the center of his little blower there. So this will be the glossy accents. It's basically what it'll look like when it's done. I really like having that. And then I think what I'll do, instead of white accents on him, is do some like other type of accents. But I need black, I think. I got these like sepia toned markers. There we go. I need something I can see. I've seen this before where they have black accents instead of white, just to give a little detail or just some dots in the corners. And then I have my white pen that I'm going to use to just get rid of the inky portion under his mouth, so that goes away, and there you go. So we shopped our stash. We used a set we haven't used in a little bit. It's not too old. I can't remember when this set released, but it's not brand new to me. But hopefully my next Shop Your Stash video, I'll reach for like a much older set that I purchased a long time ago, if I still have it. So there is that. Thank you for watching. This was kind of a long video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.